Well, hi everybody. It's Joe Grushkin from Max Exposure, and I'm here with Scott Martin from the Rye Ridge Deli. They have three locations located in southern Connecticut, and they're a classic style Jewish deli, and they have some of the best food I've had. And the smoked meats and the fishes and all the great salads and everything else. So fantastic service, fantastic atmosphere in all their locations. And I'm here with Scott. He's the owner, and his family has owned it for a while. And I'm going to let him tell a little bit about his background and story. So, Scott, welcome to the call, and thank you for being here.
Hi, Joe. Thanks.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the history of the Rye Ridge Deli, Scott.
So the Rye Ridge Deli, the first one was in Rybrook, New York. It still is. We have one in Rybrook and two in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
The store in Rybrook opened in 1964. My father, Harry, he bought it in 1983 from the second owners, and he's had it ever since. It was always a kosher style deli. We've expanded on it over the years with salads, keeping it more current, a lot of gourmet items to go. I, as a little kid, always liked working with my father in the deli. I went to college for hotel restaurant management, and when I got done with that, I came on full time, and I've been there ever since. It's 22 years now since I'm out of school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you had the Rybrook location, and then you opened up Stamford after that.
Yep. When I got out of school, we opened up. My father opened up the Stamford location, and through the years, I worked in Stamford mostly. He stayed in Rybrook. And as he's gotten older, he's worked less, I work more. And,
I worked with my dad once, and that happened to me too. So.
Yeah, exactly. And like a year and a half ago, we opened the Westport location.
Right, and Westport was taking over a landmark location, which was Oscar's Deli, my favorite place. I called it my out of the office because I loved being there. And you guys really did an incredible job on the rejuvenation, regentrification, if you will, of that location, and brought it back to life. So I know everybody on Westport was really excited to have you there, and the food is always great, and the atmosphere is fantastic. So
thanks. Yeah, it was it needed the work. And, we wanted to give Westport the place they deserved.
It's beautiful. It really is a beautiful location, and it's great to have casual food. Casual and fast food on Main Street, so it's a good thing for the town too.
We're happy to be there.
And I know everybody appreciates it. So Scott, you run a great business. You have three successful restaurants. I'm sure you've done a lot of advertising and different types of marketing. What have you guys done in the past, and what are some of the challenges that you found with your advertising?
For the advertising that we've done over the years, most of it's you spend money on ads or whatever. You have no idea who sees it. You have no idea what's coming back. We've done coupons, like, mainly over the years. And in the past, the entertainment book. I don't know if that's still around, but that was the one thing that we did. But we did that, and it would bring people who wanted to use the entertainment coupon. And that was it. They'd come use it, and you'd never see them again, maybe till they got another entertainment coupon. But you just didn't know who these people were, how they got it or anything. It was just, it was what it was. And we never saw any growth from it. Mm-hmm. We've tried, we did Groupons, Living Social. I'm not even sure if those still around. I don't know.
I don't know what Groupon is, but the retailers all hate it because
right. It really was. It was similar where it would bring people in, they'd get their Groupon or their half price sandwich or whatever, and you'd never see them again.
Well, the worst was you would end up getting 25% of what you used to get 100% on from existing customers.
Right.
So there wasn't a whole lot of new business coming from it.
Yeah, it was. They just seemed like failed, programs.
Yeah.
You did it once and that was it. Like, you saw really nothing out of it.
So what was the biggest challenge you found? Was the fact that you didn't know who was coming in or what was being redeemed?
Yeah, and also the tracking of those. Like, there was never really a good way to track them. You'd print out the list of all the coupons you sold, and you try to cross them off when they come back. But it was just a disorganized system.
And manual. And manual.
Manual, but also like we had, well, at the time we had 2 locations, but someone would someone would redeem it in Rybrook, and then I'd have to call Stanford after we checked it off there. I'd have to call Stanford to get them to do it, And
Right.
if we're on hold or busy and we didn't forget to check it off, then it's like someone could, and we had people actually photocopy them and bring them to the other location.
That's the other challenge with paper. Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Then later on, they developed some kind of system, but it never worked well.
Right. So you've been slogging it out with word of mouth and hoping that the growth would be there. And I know you had a great launch in Westport, but things kind of became static or same old in the other 2 more established locations. And when we met, you were looking for another advertising source. I know that you said to me a while ago that you were considering other things. Not to go into who you were considering, what it was, but why did you ultimately decide to go with us for the Facebook Messenger program?
I like that we could see like which location it was being redeemed in, how much was being spent, whether it was a customer who had never heard of us before, or someone who just happened to catch this. We get all those answers. Someone who we ask, have you been to the Rye Ridge Deli before? Yes or no. And that was important to us to know if we're giving coupons to new people or the people who are already coming in.
But just to give you some stats, as of February, we've amassed over 1,700 emails, and a rough number is about 45% of them are new customers, not previously customers, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So if you think about 700-800 people who found the ad are new to you or had never been to the deli. So that's really a tremendous number to work with.
Right. No, that's great.
And
we've taken those email addresses and now we're sending out direct emails to people.
Yeah. Once you get over 1,000 emails, it makes it worthwhile to send them out. And last month we did an email campaign for you. And do you remember how many people you redeemed in that month?
I don't know the exact number, but there were quite a few. I mean, even in the first few days after that email went out, actually, even the day the email went out, we had gotten a couple back. But the days after, there were quite a few.
I think, to my recollection, we sent out those emails, and I think you got back 17 or 18 in the first weekend that it was out there. So that's really tremendous. And I do remember you saying something in the neighborhood of 50 or 60 redemptions on from the month. So I was encouraged by the first email going out, because one of the things is those people are going to get the same email over and over, month after month, and that's going to kind of stack up on itself. So they might not react to it in the first month, but they go, oh yeah, in the next month, or the weather's better in the next month, or they are less busy with holidays, so they tend to come in when they're ready, but they see that email and it is timed out each time so they can know how long it's valid for.
Right.
Scott, one of the things I was most excited about for the Facebook Messenger program for your business was when we expanded from just Westport to Westport and Stamford, and then we expanded from Westport, Stamford to Rybrook, we really saw a spike in your activity. And last month, the 3 combined locations had over 140 redemptions, which was really powerful. And we generated over $5,000 in business for you over those from the 3 locations, which is really tremendous. But here's the real factor was 10% of the people who engaged were redeeming in that month. So that's huge. One of your locations, I think it was Rybrook, had no, I'm sorry, it was. Hang on.
I think it was Rybrook at the moment.
Westport is now almost at 13% redemptions.
Right.
So, and when it started, I think it was at like 5 or 6%, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was much lower than that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it really piled up because the oldest location, Westport, has been around, I think, 4 or 5 months now. It's starting to. You're seeing the redemptions coming in based on the total pool of people that that have redeemed the coupon or of the email addresses you've acquired. So that's what's going to also happen in Stamford and in Rybrook. Rybrook had a almost 10% and Stanford was right around 8.5%. So that's really exciting if you think about how it's starting to roll out the way, right, exactly the way it was supposed to.
Right. No, it's good.
Yeah, and the other thing is that you had from all the different locations, you had almost 55,000 people see the ads we've been running for you. So you got to think it's a pretty small area. Those three towns are not huge metropolises, but you're seeing a lot of people starting to get the name Rye Ridge Deli right in front of them over and over again. I think that's really a powerful thing for your business.
Those are numbers that Facebook gives back to you.
Right. Those are the numbers that we're seeing from the Facebook advertising that we're running.
Right.
So, last month, all three of them had over 18,000 people see the ads that we ran in those locations. So, when you think of a small town like Westport or a small town like Rybrook, and you have 18,000 times the ad was seen, by individuals. Those are individual views. That isn't the multiple views that they get. That's really a very, very powerful campaign for a small location. You're not P.F. Chang's or Cheesecake Factory. This is a small deli, and having that kind of volume is really powerful for you. So we're excited for it. So if you were to give advice or insight or a thought to another restaurateur, what would you tell them from you to them?
I would tell them to go ahead and give this a shot. If they want to be able to track, where the people are coming from, or what location, if they want to see the dollar amounts, if they want to see an actual it's not like putting an ad in the newspaper and you hope someone sees it. If you want to see some hands-on, physical results and actual statistics and numbers, this is a great thing to do that. And it's really the one thing that the biggest thing that sold me on it is the fact that we could actually see what's going on, as opposed to just, putting ads out there, spending money and hoping.
Right. Well, I know that you guys have really gotten the benefit of it. And, some restaurateurs have actually used this for customer service as well, where they have, they're able to communicate with people right through the messaging program. They're able to do responses to the reviews that they're getting right there in real time. And I know customers are coming back because of that. So there's a lot of benefits, not only the transparency and the true ROI. You get to see how much somebody spent, the average you get a report that shows what everybody spent, but that average is pretty significant when you're able to say, hey, I had X number of people who spent an average of this much. I know how much came in from this campaign. I spent this much. I got that much. There's a positive there, and it keeps growing every month. So
well, that is also another nice thing, though, with this being that it's on Messenger. Alex in your office, he often sends me, people will put in what location they've been to, whatever, and then they and how much they've spent, but then on their own they comment everything was great or everything wasn't so great. But really, he sends me a lot of comments. The overwhelming amount of reviews that he gets back are just comments from people that they were happy with everything.
Right, and that's in real time too. So you could actually comment back to them when you see that. You can find that person and say, hey, thanks, we appreciate the compliment. And that's coming from you as the owner. So there's so many benefits to this. And then the other thing is that it's growing on its own, because every month your ad dollars will stay the same, but the pile of people that are seeing those ads because of the rollover every month, that stacking effect we call it, that really makes a huge difference. And that's why it continues to grow on its own. So we're very excited for you and the success you're having. I want to thank you. Any thoughts before we wrap up?
No, I appreciate the work you guys put into this. It's great.
Good. Well, thank you, Scott, and thank you so much for spending some time with us and sharing with other restaurateurs. We appreciate it, and most importantly, we appreciate your business, man, and your friendship and working with us. So,
thank you.
Thank you, Scott. We'll see you soon.